Welcome to NoMi Insider on the Set, where we highlight the people, programs, and resources making a difference in North Miami and making our city a place where community, opportunity, and lifestyle intersect. In this special episode, we're celebrating the vibrant spirit of Caribbean American Heritage Month and the inaugural Caribbean Heritage Month Committee right here in North Miami. Joining us is Arlette Blake, the city's special events supervisor, who proudly brings her Trinidadian roots into every event she curates. From culture to community impact, we'll explore how heritage and public service shape meaningful city experiences. I'm your host, Savannah Dre Smith. Arlette, welcome to NoMi Insider on the Set. How are we feeling today?
I am feeling absolutely excited to be here today.
This month in June, in June, you wear several hats. Not like you already don't do that, but in this month specifically. So you're the special events supervisor for the city of North Miami. And then in June, you are the Caribbean Heritage Month chair, inaugural Caribbean Heritage Month chair.
No pressure.
You know, no pressure, lightweight, easy work on the shoulders. Are you ready?
Of course, I stay ready.
This is nothing a piece of cake for you.
I don't know about a piece of cake. I think that we have a lot of things going on in North Miami on a regular basis, but I think this month we're going to celebrate a little bit bigger, a little bit better. And like you said, it's the inaugural Caribbean Heritage Month. So all we want to do is have exciting times and make sure that our residents feel included.
Launching something new, especially on a city-wide scale, takes vision, collaboration, and passion. What went into planning the events for this inaugural Caribbean Heritage Month? And how did you bring this vision to life? So one of the things we were very intentional, I want to say, about making sure that everything stayed very authentic. Being a Trinidadian of Trinidadian descent, one of the things that's very important to us is authenticity. How the food tastes, how do we dress, how do we act, how does our music sound? And even, to the point of education and how much we value that as a community in our morals and in our values. So a large part of it was really trying to dissect the things that our community holds near and dear to their heart, and then trying to figure out how we can get those people and those resources together to provide that service. So we've had several meetings with a lot of different people, organizations across South Florida to just kind of get their perspectives about how they view Caribbean American heritage and how they view the culture here in South Florida. North Miami, as we both know, is known for its vibrant cultural diversity, and the Caribbean community plays a huge role in shaping that identity. Why is it important for a city like ours to recognize and uplift Caribbean culture through public events?
One of the things that I think is important for us as a community is to really identify diversity, but then also figure out where we're similar. And so North Miami has a very heavy population of Hispanic culture, along with Haitian culture here. And so one of the things that I noticed when I first moved here to North Miami is that part of the culture. And seeing that the Hispanic culture had been developed so well, Haitian culture had been developed so well, in that diaspora, we're missing a large part of the Caribbean islands who encompass a lot more things than just being Haitian or just being Hispanic. And so I wanted to make sure identify those islands and make sure that we're able to show and showcase that as well.
And you're doing a great job
Thank you, Savannah.
So when I mentioned that you were the city's special events supervisor, that doesn't just include, the culture months. That includes huge events, but also the small events. And as you know, the city of North Miami has events, I'd like to say every day, but it's really every week, every month. And to give you your flowers on a public platform, you do a great job keeping us together in that aspect. And I know it's not a light lift, but you make it look so easy. Can you speak to that? How do you make it look so easy? Is it team support? Is it just institutional knowledge? What is it?
To be quite honest, working in events over several sectors, whether it be higher ed, nonprofit, corporate, finance, I've worked in a lot of different sectors. So this is my, I think, second job here in government. And one of the things that I did notice is that there's a lot of opportunities where we can use our transferable skills, right? And so in this realm for special events, it takes a lot of being intentional. It takes a lot of pre-planning. It definitely also takes the right team. team, right? And being a part of Parks and Recreations, we have a huge operations team that makes sure to support all of our events. So when you see guys showing up with tents, tables, chairs, water coolers, fans, all these different things, I may have requested it, but they're actually showing up and doing that part of it. And then I have a wonderful communications team as well that I work with to make sure that we're promoted properly, to make sure that we're represented as a city properly on many different calendars. You guys don't just post on our website, you guys are posted to many different outlets as well. And so it's a team support. I work with Public Works, the Department of Public Works, Communications, Parks and Recreations, of course. But just being able to connect so many different people in our department is really what makes the event work. Because I can't just call and request things. I have to have people that actually show up and actually care about the event the way that I do. And that's the beauty of working at North Miami, where I do have that support.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because oftentimes our residents don't know what goes into the heavy lifting of an event, especially how many departments have to work together and the relationships that you have to have with these departments to ensure the success of an event. Creating something meaningful for the community often comes with both challenges and moments of joy. What has been the most rewarding part of organizing this new initiative for the city?
Being that I am of Trinidadian descent, and my mom has always instilled in me the importance of knowing who you are, knowing where you come from, and sharing that with other people, and showing our resilience, showing how, I want to say, full of life we are. And to come from such a small island, I'm always very intentional about how I feel about that. My grandparents migrated to Brooklyn when I was, I wasn't even born yet, right? And so that's like the early 1970s. And so for me, I take my Caribbean culture very, very seriously. And I expect that, while I'm sharing this culture, that you're able to take that journey and walk with us as well.
On a little bit of a personal note, because outside of our departments, you being Parks and me being Communications, we've worked together for 3 years, so we've gained a genuine friendship. And I love the little tidbits that you always share with us about how your mom raised you and how your grandparents and how big the Trinidadian culture was. And it's not lost on me, though, that even though you were raised here, that Trinidadian culture and the roots run strong. You are Trinidadian. You are the definition of Caribbean American. And it means a lot, because I know it must have, you've spoken on this before, just the incorporating both cultures, being Caribbean and being American, but being Caribbean in America. So to be able to bring this initiative to the city and bring another cultural month, because as you spoke on, we celebrate Black History Month, we celebrate Haitian Heritage Month, which we just got through celebrating. Now we have Caribbean Heritage Month, and then September and October is Hispanic Heritage Month. So just a huge thank you, because you're shining a spotlight on the Caribbean cultures that are also here in North Miami.
You are most welcome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Behind the scenes of every major celebration in North Miami, your influence can be felt. Like I spoke on, we met on the steps of the stage at La Gran Fiesta for Hispanic Heritage Month, and that was 3 years ago. And we can still feel Parks and Recreations, more specifically special events, and their impact. As someone who helps bring these events to life, what are you most proud of in your work with the city of North Miami?
One of the things that I'm most proud of, especially at community-based events, because there's a difference when we have our cultural events, but our community-based events, sometimes I notice, especially with the economy that we have right now, I've noticed that a lot of people aren't taking their children a lot of places for entertainment, right? And when you talk about, we have Orlando, that's 3 hours away, but when you get there, it's expensive, right? And a lot of people cannot afford that. So for me, I try to find event activations that wouldn't normally a child in our neighborhood wouldn't normally be a part of. And so when I see a parent, or maybe even their entire family, I think one of the things that I love to see is when there's a dad and all 5 of his girls and everybody's out and they have their picnic stuff, they are able to get something to eat. And it didn't cost them $150 for everybody to enter. It costs $20. As you know, we do the bunny hop pack. We do the haunted trail pack, where we're able to get an entire family in for maybe $20-25. And so that to me is one of my reasons for doing events, and why I do community events in particular, as in relation to social events. But I love community events, and I love to see, the families that are able to just enjoy themselves on a Saturday or on a Sunday for free, or sometimes at a very, very low cost. So that to me is if I can affect one family, if I can change the outcome, or maybe a kid comes to the event and they're like, oh, you know what? I didn't even know I like to skate. Mom, you know, what about ice hockey? The Florida Panthers, right? So all of these different things. And then another thing that I really love is being able to connect different parts of our community. Because you spoke about how many departments we connect, right? Within those departments are people who are also connected to different areas in our community. So Public Works, I can talk to one of the guys and say, hey, do you know of a family that's in need, that you've been to their home, and we can support that, or we can figure out a way to get them something. So those are the type of things that I really like, the community engagement, and I love, love, love to see our families just out having a good time.
You spoke about this and it really touched my heart, and I might be embarrassing myself with this little fact, but we're all family on the NoMi Insider set. I used to know how to skate. I lost that ability a couple years ago at the spring egg hunt.
Yes.
I was walking with our staff, we were taking videos. Boom, there's a skating rink in the middle of the spring egg hunt at Enchanted Forest Park. Who would have ever thought to bring a skating rink? And I can't tell you how long the line was.
Yeah.
Kids pulling on their parents. Mom, I want to go skate. Dad, I want to go skate. I saw adults
that were
skating.
skating.
They were skating. And then I just knew that if I went, I would be holding onto the railing, just doing little two-step. So things like that, activations like that. The nearest skating rink is how far?
About 20 miles.
To come to a spring egg hunt and you see, okay, I know I'm going to see the bounce house. I know I'm going to see this. I know I'm going to see, but I didn't know I was going to see a skating rink. What idea popped up into your head and said, boom, skating rink at a spring egg hunt?
So to be quite honest, as we're being honest to NoMi Insider, I pick up a lot of contacts by going to other events. And for Black History Month, we did a wonderful panel about labor and African Americans. And I met a young man who was a part of the event by the name of Tyler Howell, who's the owner of Deuce's Skating Ring. And he just talked about how hard he's having a time getting the business up and running. And I thought to myself, well, here we are as a special event supervisor. Here is this young man that's a part of the North Miami community, and he's trying to get his business to thrive. Why not marry those two? Let's get an event activation and also help somebody that's in a local business. And that's how I look at my events, and that's how I think about things, not just for the benefit of, oh, it looks nice, but how can both entities benefit from this experience, from the spring egg hunt. And much like you, a lot of adults in the comments for our survey that we sent out, they were like, oh my gosh, can we get a bigger ring next time? Where can we do it? And so we're trying to figure out right now how to do that for July 4th because the area isn't flat. So we're working on that too, to bring another activation, a larger skating ring, where more kids will be able to skate, and it'll be at night.
So our viewers may say, why did Savannah bring up spring egg hunt and a skating rink? And I want to let them know, I brought that up for a reason, just to show how not only your brain works, but for them to get a little bit of an insight of what Caribbean Heritage Month might involve.
Yes,
if the spring egg hunt had an unexpected skating rink, can you imagine what a full month of events, and with your permission, I can share this with our audience.
Yes.
We have begun to promote Caribbean Heritage Month, and we have a logo. So whenever they see that logo, they know that it's something to do with Caribbean Heritage Month. Be on the lookout for it because we have a month. I'm not going to tell too much. I am so excited, and I'm not going to tell too much, but we do have a month of events, and not necessarily just events, but information and knowledge to learn about the culture. My last question for you, because you know we could sit up here and talk all day between the two of us. Caribbean Heritage Month isn't just about recognition, it's also about participation. How can interested residents and visitors get involved, and what are some of the exciting events they can look forward to throughout the month?
Sure. So on June 6th, we're hosting our Lyman on the Plaza, and it's Lyman on the Plaza, on Mocha Plaza, where we'll have a carnival resource fair. We'll have a lot of different activities related to carnival, fashion shows, masqueraders, and food. Of course, food is just a big part of our culture.
Can't wait.
And we have a special guest. We have 2 special guests that we will be confirming, and I'm pretty sure our communications team will be putting out shortly. But on the 21st, we also have our Ride and Fete, where everyone will have an opportunity to ride from Griffin Boulevard to our pier at North Bay Shore Park. And then we also have our closing ceremony with our city council and council reception, and we will also have a great time with that. We will have food, and we'll have a time to recognize a couple of our Caribbean Heritage Month honorees.
One thing I really wanted to focus on when we started this show was the employees who make things happen in the city of North Miami. You know, our residents always say the city of North Miami makes things happen. We are a place where you can live, work, and play. But just to put a face behind the movement in our city, the excitement in our city, and the resources in our city is one of the reasons why I was so excited when this show was proposed. So I just wanted to thank you, not only from a communication standpoint, but from a person who enjoys the activities that you bring to the city of North Miami. So as our special event supervisor, but also heavy title, our inaugural Caribbean Heritage Month Committee Chair, I thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Savannah, for having me and for always supporting special events. I mean, not just you, your entire department, communications, they play a very big role. Like, we talk about this a lot, but you guys play a very big role in how we do things and how things are communicated visually to our community. So before they even get to my event, you guys are giving them the heads up about how things are gonna look, what to expect, hey, where to park. Sometimes we're on the phone and we're texting late at night. So I just wanna give you and your team your flowers as well for even creating a platform like this for employees, for the movers and shakers of the city to kind of come up here and really show you what we've been doing, and really give you that kind of love from our hearts. So I thank you as well.
Thank you, Arlette. That brings us to the end of this exciting NoMi Insider on the Set. A huge thank you to Arlette Blake for sharing her professional insight and her personal journey as a proud Trinidadian American, leading with culture, heart, and purpose. Caribbean Heritage Month is more than a celebration. It's a reminder of the richness and resilience woven into our community. I'm your host, Savannah Dre Smith, and thank you for watching. And as always, stay connected, proud, and inspired here in the city of North Miami.